Allison Jaffe, I'm so happy to see you. Meet you, I guess. It's more apt. No, you're
Allison, you're muted. No, backwards. No. Hit the. Yay. Leave it like that. Oh, I'll call her. Yeah, no, you're muted. I think you also need to kick the volume up on your computer. Right now you are muted. Okay, then, but see, you're still on mute. See that little icon with the.
Tell her to
Now-
go to the top of her screen.
Now you're unmuted. No. Oh, did you hit? Hang on, sorry, I'll mute myself. Hold on, guys. Everybody's hearing me talk to you.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Steve.
Good afternoon.
So Cynthia, how are we on a quorum?
I thought I saw 6 a minute ago, but I'll double check.
I see 7.
Yeah, that looks about right.
And do you think we're expecting a few more people that do? I don't know where that background noise is coming from, but people might mute themselves to see if it goes away.
Good job.
Thank you. So should we get started? Let's get started.
Start video.
So welcome everybody. I'm glad to see you, and I wanted to welcome Allison Jaffe, who's our new board member, but I'm not sure if she's going to be speaking or if she's going to figure that out later. We hope. Anyway, welcome Allison. And then I believe we have another new board member, Cassie Hall, but I'm not sure that she's joining us today. So if we see her at some point, I will recognize her. So Ms. Attanasio, do you want to do the roll call?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to remind you we're all being recorded. Professor Antrom.
Here.
Dave Mendiola.
Here.
Laura Fitzsimmons.
Here.
Joni Easley.
Yep.
Chris June Kiliani.
Here.
Jeff Wells.
Here.
Drew Christensen.
Here.
Rob Tellis. Kate Thomas.
Here.
Bevan Lister. Commissioner Hall. Allison Jaffe.
I'm here.
And Justice William Moppin.
Cynthia, I think the noise is coming from one of your pieces of equipment.
I know I think it's my microphone, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Okay,
I'll shut it off now, though.
so we have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. So moving on to number 2, our first item is public comment, which we normally restrict to 3 minutes. It's open to anyone. Ms. Attanasio, before we begin with anyone who's present, do we have any emails or other comments?
No, sure, Tom.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone who's joining us today who would like to make a public comment?
Hi, Chair Trom. This is Todd Reese from Carson City. If possible, I would love to make a public comment.
Okay, and go ahead, Mr. Reese.
Thank you. Very briefly, I wanted to just kind of correct the record from the last meeting. And Judge Russell is a sitting district court judge in the First Judicial District, and Judge Armstrong is a sitting justice of the peace in the Carson City Justice Municipal Court, and they were participants in the Supreme Court's Indigent Defense Commission. Also, again, very briefly, in the designee agreement in Section 6, the designee agreement is requiring the DIDS designee to contact the department anytime the DIDS designee is potentially going to deny an expense. In general, we would ask that be taken out of the designee agreement with Carson City. First, because it's not really necessary. If things are getting denied inappropriately, that's going to be readily apparent when the defense counsel is applying to the court and the court's approving those expenses. I really don't want that to be happening any more than anybody else. Also, it presents a conflict of interest for us in the sense that if there's a co-defendant situation where the state public defender is representing one defendant and conflict counsel is representing the other, then if the DIDS designee has to contact DIDS when he or she is proposing to deny an expense of the conflict counsel, then that's allowing a co-defendant, somebody representing the co-defendant, the state PD, to oversee to see the opposing counsel's strategy and expenses. So those are my comments on that. Thank you for your indulgence.
Okay, thank you. So I think that's relating to something that we're going to get to later on in the meeting. So when we get, if that is correct, Marcy, is that correct?
We are going to discuss in section 4 who we've approved in the process of going through.
Okay.
The terms and conditions were discussed at the last meeting.
Okay.
And the department creates them as they feel necessary, depending upon the experience of the person that the county is requesting be designated. So we do modify those dependent upon their criminal experience. But we did discuss it last week or last
meeting. Okay. Is there anyone else who has a public comment to make?
This is Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to take a moment to congratulate you on a second nomination
Thank you.
and wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate that. Any other public comments? Okay, so let's move on to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting, October 6, 2021.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. I thought they looked great. This is Joni Eastley in Tonopah.
Great, okay. Joni, are you calling in addition to?
Yeah, yes, I am, but I
just
like seeing everyone's faces and I don't have a camera, so I use my phone and the Zoom.
That's fine. I'm just trying to make sense of seeing you in two places. Okay, so we have a motion to approve the minutes. Would anyone like to second the motion?
Sure, I'll second.
Good. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Good. Minutes are approved. So now let's go to number 4, which is the process for approval of the department designee. Marcy, do you want to take that?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Chair Trom. So far we've approved Douglas County's designee, who is Derek Lopez, as well as Pershing County's designee, Kelly Weaver. We are continuing to work with Carson City, Churchill County, Elko, Lander, Mineral, Nye, and Story. Right now, our department is acting as designee for most of these places or setting up the process. And as we talk with each county and learn who they would like to have designated, we are providing them with the form that we gave to this board at last month's meeting. And we are able to modify it as we feel appropriate. And I don't think that we're aware of who Carson City has chosen at this point for part of their designee. We're working with the designee for the selection of council at this point. So we're trying to get that forth. Churchill County is looking to retain someone, but we are acting in the position. Elko will be acting until at least January 1st. Lander will be meeting with to see who their designee will be. And we are trying to get a hold of Mineral County and Nye County and Story County. We're working on setting up as well. So we are in the process of getting this put together, and we're hoping by the new year to have everything in place fully.
Would you mind just reminding us what a designee does?
So the designee fills in for 2 positions. The first item that a designee would perform would be the selection of council. So this department or the board set forth AB 480, which changed the law that created a distinction between appointment of council and selection of council. So it is an outside entity other than the judiciary that would select the council. So it'd be our department or our designee that would select the council for the case. The designee would also perform the approval of expert requests for investigator or experts, and then finally review those billings as well as attorney billings to submit for payment. So those are the 2 main duties of that position.
Okay, that's just helpful to hear again. Okay, any questions or comments on that brief report on designees? It's good. Okay, so should we move on to number 5, the non-Davis County plans and the budget approval for those?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So as you can see, we have received the Story County as well as the Carson City plans. And today we are recommending that this board approve these plans subject to BOE and IFC approval and subject to the approval of the designee. In Story County, we worked with District Attorney Ann Langer, who was present at this meeting. And in Carson City, we worked with the city manager, Nancy Polson, the court administrator, Maxine Cortez, and Deputy DA Todd Reed just made a public comment. So we are asking today that the plans be adopted or approved by this board, contingent upon funding.
Excellent. So that's reflects just a lot of work by a lot of people to get that done. And I just want to recognize that just a lot of people have put in time working with Marcy and her crew and vice versa, working with the counties to get that done. Does anyone have a discussion, or would we, and this is going to be an action item, so, right? We're okay. So does anyone have any comments or discussion on this before we move on to approving those?
Chair Trom, is this something that I could give a 2-minute comment on, or is this not?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. We have really tried to work with, this is Todd Reese again for Carson City. We really have tried to work with the department to remove pieces that the department was objecting to. One thing I would like to bring up for the board's consideration, we do have, for the selection of counsel, we do have folks with the legal assistance for our conflict counsel doing the selection of counsel. What we would be interested in, if the board would be willing to consider it, the court clerk's office for our court system, they have been doing the selection of counsel in the past. They have lots of experience doing it. They have contacts with the attorney. And we had originally proposed that they would simply follow the plan and use the DIDS approved lists of attorneys to select a counsel. And in that regard, my understanding is it would be very much like Clark County. If the board would consider allowing us to do that, I think that would realize efficiencies for both for both Carson City and the courts. With that, I will leave it to the board's discretion.
Okay, thank you very much. And Marcy, do you think you or Tom, whoever's the better person on this, could just clarify what the plan is that's before us?
The plan that was submitted by Carson City calls for a counsel assistant that is defined as the assistant to one of the conflict attorneys, and that's who we've been notified by Nancy Paulson as to who they want us to contact to try and have this designee for the selection of counsel. So this request is actually not in compliance with the plan, and it's the first time that we've heard this. The plan was adopted by the Board of Supervisors in Carson City, and I don't know if it's appropriate to be able to modify the plan without it being sent back to the Board of Supervisors and getting their input. The other concern that we have is that the clerk's office does appear to be closely tied to the judiciary. This would be different than in Clark County, where in Clark County, counsel is actually assigned to a court where they have a specific court that they're assigned to for the selection. Where in Carson City, counsel is not assigned to a specific court, they're assigned to all courts. And there might be a concern that, number one, this would appear possibly that it is the judiciary acting in this concern. David Carroll from the Sixth Amendment Center did believe that this court clerk's office would have that same appearance of impropriety and wouldn't be an appropriate place to have our designation be set. And we are concerned that it could create this rotation to be a little bit off kilter if the courts are not talking to each other and we don't necessarily know whether the juvenile court is assigning a case when another person is assigning the case. And that's why we have taken steps, as Carson City has directed us to do, to meet with their counsel assistant. And we are working on creating a designation for that person. We have a meeting, I believe, scheduled for Friday.
Okay, so let me just clarify if my takeaway is accurate. The plan that was approved by Carson City and is before us right now does not have a set designee.
The plan that is before us for the selection of counsel calls for a counsel assistant to select counsel.
Oh, okay.
Counsel assistant is defined in the plan as a legal assistant for the conflict counsel. And Nancy Paulson has reached out to me and provided me with the name of the counsel assistant that she would like to have as Carson City's designee for the selection of counsel purposes.
But right now, if we just approve what's in front of us on the plan, we haven't approved who the designee is, right? We've just approved everything else in the plan, and the designee is sort of still waiting to be filled in.
Yes, pursuant to the statute, the designee is the department or its designee, so it would be the department making that decision.
Okay.
As the plan is written, it is not necessarily written as the clerk's office, it's written as the assistant to counsel.
Okay, so my understanding is that DIDS gets to select the designee. Mr. Reese is suggesting that it be the clerk's office. We haven't that's not at the moment the plan. You haven't made that designation as your DIDS has not made that as its designee at this point. So that's sort of still like bracketed in terms of who the designee would be, but everything else in the plan is good to go and has been approved by the county, and we're good to approve it as written.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, okay, thank you for that clarification, Chris.
Thank you. That helps a little bit. I appreciate Mr. Reese's comments, but I have a feeling that they're not appropriate to what we're discussing today. It sounds like the plan that we will be voting on one way or another outlines how the selection will be made by DIDS. That recommendation has come in, but that's up to them at that point. Plus what we have in front of us has already gone to the Board of Examiners. Is that what I heard Marcy say? So I really would not feel comfortable making any kind of changes. Yeah.
If I may, Marcy's absolutely correct. The plan as written has it as a council assistant to has our people who will be designated as a designee for selecting council are the council assistants to the conflict council. However, an original draft of a plan that was discussed with Marcy did have the court clerks doing that. If it was the board's, the board's, I'm blanking on words. If the board had an interest in doing so, we would simply, it would be, it would realize efficiencies for us to use the court clerk's office. However, Marcy's absolutely correct that that's not in this version of the plan, and that was because Marcy could not approve that as the DIDS designee, and so we wanted to come before the board with a plan that Marcy could support. And Marcy's also correct that the board has approved, that the board of Carson City Board of Supervisors has approved this plan. The Carson City Board of Supervisors also approved a prior plan that Marcy couldn't support. And in that plan, we did have I do believe we had the court clerk's office doing the assignment. I'm not going to say selection of counsel, because the selection of counsel is being done by other people. So the request was, if it was in the board's discretion to approve the plan with the option of using the court clerks in that capacity, that would be wonderful. If that's not the board's, if the board chooses not to do that, we will proceed with the plan as written.
Thank you.
Anne?
Yes, I want to get to Jeff Wells and then Laura Fitzsimmons. So go ahead, Jeff.
I just wanted to, Marcy just explained it, but I want to do it a little more detail, and Drew might even do more detail after that. But I think Todd might have a slight misunderstanding of how Clark County does it. We have a separate committee that meets, that actually selects which lawyers would be on our track lawyers versus which lawyers get individual appointments. When we do the track lawyers, my recollection is we currently have 54 of them, 3 assigned to each court. The court doesn't pick which 3 get assigned. Our Office of Appointed Counsel, i.e. Drew and the committee, assigns 3 to a court. Sometimes the judges don't even like who they got assigned, and we say, too bad, there's your 3. The court then rotates between those 3 for a regular track case. But if we get a case that is, it's a capital, it's a class A, it's any of those kinds of things, the only function that the clerk has there is that they call Drew, and then Drew picks out of our whole list of the other 100 lawyers who is going to be assigned. There's no assignment at all by the actual clerks here, other than to the extent that the judge / then the clerk following the judge rotates between the 3 on the track for the normal up to class B type cases.
Thank you. Laura Fitzsimmons, do you want to make your comment?
Laura,
It's contagious. Mr. Reese, when you said that you were going to be clarifying from the last time, I had expected you to clarify your statement that you attributed to John McCormick. Did you do any follow-up? Do you remember last time saying that somebody with the city had contacted AOC, and according to Mr. McCormick, senior judges can determine fees? Do you remember that? Little off point, but anyhow,
Sure.
if you want,
I'm happy.
you call him and get the correct information on that. I just want to make sure on this issue, this has already gone to the board. I've talked to a couple supervisors recently. They say this is all a done deal. are you suggesting that if there was a reason, which I'm not hearing, to make the court clerk the designee, that wouldn't it have to go back to the Board of Supervisors then?
It would have to, this is Todd Reese with Carson City for the record. You're correct. It would have to go back to the board for an amendment to the plan. Because that was in a version of the plan that was previously approved by the board. I can't obviously speak for the board itself. I'm not sure that they would have a problem with that. It would save us having to add some money to the conflict council contract. So from the extent that it would save us money, of course, the board would appreciate any efforts to save money.
Allison Jaffe? Go ahead.
There we go. I think we need to remember that we are a board and none of us or our executive director could act individually. And I think that the board of supervisors in Carson City has made a decision. They voted on it. And I'm not sure, I guess Mr. Reese is the board's attorney, but he cannot make any different recommendations outside of the board unless he's acting for somebody else. So I think our only choice is to follow the Carson City Board of Supervisors decision, in that it is approved within the DIDS structure.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to circle back. Christy, do you still have a hand up? No.
Nope.
Okay. And then I also just wanted to welcome Cassie Hall, who has joined us. I'm not sure if I don't know if she has video, but welcome and thank you for joining us. Cassie.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think that there's a consensus here, right? Which is we have a plan that's board approved, meaning approved by Carson City, that's in front of us as written. It has sort of bracketed, there's not a designee at this moment, that the department is acting as the designee, and it's the department's choice who the designee will be. So that's consistent with the plan that's in front of us, that designation or keeping it with the department will play out over time. But I think that we can have a vote on approving this, but let me just clarify. Are we approving one? Are we approving two or one right now? Story and Carson, or just Carson first?
We would request that you approve both Story and Carson. If you'd like to hear from them separately, that's fine. But we're asking that both be approved.
Okay, so let me just, I think we should do it as a slate. Is there any discussion that we need to have on Story County's plan? Also, it's also approved by Story County and it's in front of us now. And just to say again, we're really grateful for everyone who made this happen to get these done. Okay, so perhaps one of my board would like to suggest an action item on this, a motion to approve these.
This is Chris. I would make a motion to approve both Carson City and Story County as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that. Mendiola.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. It's really, we're really grateful to get this done. Marcy, did you want to say anything more about the Board of Examiners and IFC? I think you already said that, but just go ahead.
And a little later on the agenda, we do talk about the quarterly reports that we've received from the counties. I don't know, we could go on to the next item and just start with it if you would like.
Good. So the next item, thank you for that, everyone, and Mr. Rees for your comments. We appreciate those. So the next item is the update from the department. So go ahead, Marcy.
So we have several great things to update you about, but let's start with the budget. We did provide you with the quarterly fiscal reporting from the counties. We have received reporting from all rural counties other than Lander County and Story County. I have been in contact with the district attorney, Ann Langer. They needed additional time to submit their first quarterly report, so we are working with them and granting them that request for additional time. And we believe that that should be provided to us shortly. The information that we've received is that once the counties hit the maximum contribution, which as you can see from the first quarter, no county has hit the maximum contribution yet. But once a county hits a maximum contribution, we will do a request depending upon whether it's a Davis County or a non-Davis County. If it's a Davis County, we'd request to go directly to IFC because we have those funds directly earmarked. If it's a non-Davis County, we'll have to do a request to the Board of Examiners and then move on to IFC for reimbursement for each of the counties. We are expecting that by the third quarter, some counties may be hitting their maximum contribution, and that's when our initial request will be submitted to the governor's finance office. So at this point, we are not slated to go to IFC or BOE until a county reaches their maximum contribution, and then we will file a request. On another note, we did request a work program for our data analyst. We believe that that should go sometime in January to request first from the Board of Examiners and then interim finance committee to request funding for our data analyst to do a salary survey, look at our oversight process, as well as look at our pipelines. And with the pipeline, that brings us to sub B, a grant from the state bar. The department received a grant from the state bar for $26,000 with the work of Chair Trom, as well as some other great individuals at UNLV Boyd School of Law, Don Nielsen, Nikki Harris. These individuals helped us create not only an internship where you could receive a stipend, but it has qualified for an externship where you can receive a stipend. So this is apparently a very big deal, that there's not many opportunities where you can get externship credit as well as a stipend. Our hope is to provide a stipend of $6,500 per each student, a total of 2 students for the summer to come and live and work in one of our rural counties. Because of the Supreme Court Rule 49.3, which allows limited practice for law students, this first year we will be striving for 2Ls that'll be allowed to practice in the courtroom. And the participating offices will be our organized public defender offices because they clearly qualify under Supreme Court Rule 49.3 to allow the limited practice. So that'll be the Nevada State Public Defender, the Churchill Public Defender, Humboldt County Public Defender, the Elko Public Defender, and the Pershing Public Defender. And I was on a conference with Matt Pennell with the Elko County office, and he promised that if he has someone come to his office for an internship, he promises that they'll receive a jury trial sitting with him. So it's a great opportunity that we're very excited for, and we just wanted to let the board know that this is just kind of our first step in creating this pipeline to introduce students to the rural offices, to let them actually live and work in a rural community, and hopefully they'll want to stay and set up shop there. So that's our update on that. And another set up for an update is that our regulations were adopted on October 25th, 2021. So we've provided everyone with a copy of our permanent regulations, which is extremely exciting. And they will be in the Nevada Administrative Code, Chapter 180. So this is really great work that our board was able to come together, get this done, especially for the maximum contribution formula. And it was adopted unanimously by the Legislative Commission. And the final item that I wanted to point out was the second monitor report received from the monitor, Professor Eve Hanan, who is on this call. If you view the report, it does discuss the significant progress that this board and our department has done in laying the foundation, the passage of our regulations, the quarterly reporting, setting up legal server that was done by Mr. Qualls, the training videos, Mr. Handy's work in developing the roster of attorneys. And just so the board knows, we have 85 attorneys on our list. It discusses how we've developed a system for reviewing attorney requests for fees and case-related expenses, that we've been providing monthly training free of charge to indigent defense providers, and our work towards the data analyst and completing the wage salary survey. So this report was just basically kind of a review of our progress that we've made thus far. And going forward in the next report, what we will expect is the monitor is going to be evaluating the terms of each of our designee relationships. In our discussions with the monitor, she has expressed some concerns, and she is concerned. She wants to ensure that our terms and conditions are ensuring that the judiciary is separated from the selection or the approval, and also that there's no undue financial influence on this person that's making these decisions. She will be reviewing existing contracts, and she's going to report on the progress of whether we're able to do our wage salary survey, and also report on the status of how our process for requesting reimbursement is going. So that will be in the next report. And that's what I have for an update.
Excellent. A lot going on, and you know, a lot still to do, but there's really been a lot accomplished. And I think the second monitor report really came in like right as all of those plans are being turned in and approved. So this is like entering another huge stage, right, of the department's work. Any comments or questions about the report?
Excellent news, especially the internship project.
Yeah, that's nice. That's exciting. Okay, I think the next thing on my list is confirmation of the next meeting. Is that's still okay? So so I think we are canceling the December 15th meeting. I think given that we've approved everyone's plans and can sort of let things play out, that probably will be fine, and we'll reunite in January. So I think our meeting is slated for January 26th at 1 p.m. I think I already have that on my calendar, so everyone else should too. And then I'm missing the next page, but I think the next thing is public comment. Am I right about that? Okay. Anyone have a public comment to make? Okay. And Ms. Attanasio, we have not received any during the meeting. Am I correct about that?
You're correct. Nothing's received.
Okay, thank you. So I think with that, we can adjourn. Am I missing something? I'm just not looking at the last page, but we're good. Okay, so we can adjourn. We always love to have a motion to adjourn, even
So
though
it's time for me to make my usual
Yes, it
motion to
is.
adjourn, isn't it? But at first I was going to say a very prompt and efficient meeting. Thank you, future Judge Trump.
Well,
And,
it's the efficiencies are coming from the department itself, right? That they've just done an amazing amount of work and made our job very easy. So I'm really grateful for that.
But my motion to adjourn still stands.
Okay.
Laura Fitzsimmons, I'll second.
Excellent. Everyone in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Great
Thanks,
holiday.
everybody.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes.